It's me, I'm back. I'm making another short review. This time we're reviewing a premium tank. The FCM50T, this Tier 8 premium heavy tank. This thing is pretty good. I say it's the best Tier 8 heavy premium tank. Let's look at its competition compared to this. Here we got the FCM50T. We got the LOL. Where's the LOL? There's the LOL. Which is probably this thing's biggest competitor because they're very similar to each other. If you like the LOL, you'll probably like the FCM50T. And then we got the G34. Excuse me. And do the Russians have any heavy tanks yet? Oh yeah, and the IS-6, which I'm not very fond of. It's not a terrible tank, just not my type of tank. Alright, hit points. It is on the low scale, though it is the same hit points as the T-34, so it's just, you know, standard. It's 55 tons. This is, the IS-6 is lighter weight, but that thing has good armor, more sloping. Other than that, this is the lightest heavy, far lighter than the LOL, which has a lot slower horsepower per ton, 90 ton and 800 horsepower engine. So this thing is ridiculously fast compared to them, and the armor's pretty shit compared to all of these. It's on par with the LOL, which is incredibly well armored to begin with. In fact, the LOL has more armor than this thing, and the LOL has better sloping too, and less weak points. So it is also the fastest, and its gun is more like a medium tank gun. Anyway, alright, so got 400 meter view range and 750 signal range. Both of those are, I'd have to say, average. No, the view range is pretty good, and the signal range is pretty good too, but they're not very important stats unless you're in a vehicle like an SPG or an artillery or a fast tank destroyer that needs view range to do its job. Or a snipe tank that needs that signal range to do its job. That's not really that important. Its traverse speed and its speed limit are all amazing. Medium tank standards. Let's look at this gun. It's the 90mm DCA-45. 90mm gun. It's got 8 rounds a minute, which is very good for a heavy tank. But this is more of a medium tank. The penetration's great. The damage is poor, but the rate of fire makes up for it. 0.36 accuracy is good, and then a standard 2.3 second aiming time. So this is a good gun. It's a nice 90mm gun. The armor is the exact same as the IS and the KV-13, but slightly different. For one, the turret is better armored. It now has the same armor as the hull, and it's got a stronger mantle too. It's still got that weak commander's cupola. Other than that, this thing's armor's on par with it, except for the sloping. The sloping on the hull is far weaker on both the IS and the KV-13. This thing's sloping is terrible compared to them. And the hull, the thing is sloped back, not as good. Taller tanks will have harder and harder times penetrated though, just because it's got a reverse slope. But its rear and side armor is pretty crap. Its armor's not that good for heavy, but its speed and gun make for it. So what this thing gets is it gets a medium tank gun, it gets medium tank speed, it gets heavy tank hit points, heavy tank size. That's pretty much what this thing is. It's got medium tank armor, medium tank speed, medium tank gun with heavy tank size and hit points. And if this armor has been angled properly, it will bounce a lot of shots. But unless you know what you're doing, like you're side scraping effectively, or you know you're fighting a tank that doesn't have the penetration. Even when this thing is sloped pretty effectively, it's not going to protect you very often. If you got this thing at optimal sloping, this is only going to be a 45-degree slope, which isn't bad, but not good, so, yeah. Equipment fit. Large tank caliber gun rammer is, probably a good idea. I mean, its reload is pretty good, but still, get that DPM up. Vertical stabilizer. This thing is not only fast, but it can mount one of these things, so you want one of these. And improved vents is a good idea. Gunling drive is a good idea. Then its view range is more than good, so I don't think any of these are going to be necessary. Especially since this tank is should be up at the front lines, using this thing as a fast medium, so you shouldn't need that view range. And vents helps with view range as well, so yeah. Spawn liner is a terrible idea. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. This thing really gets ammo racked. None of this looks any useful other than the gun rammer, vents, vertical stabilizer, and the gunling drive. This thing has a lot of crew members. This thing is meant to train French heavy tanks, so, you know, having a lot of crew members spots is a good thing. If there's an extra slot for the tank you're training, you just have a crew that's trained for this tank in that slot. Alright, repairs, brothers in arms, firefighting for common perks. Commander, you would give him mentor, because, you know, you're training stuff in this thing. I mean, if you're training a vehicle that doesn't have 5 slots, only has like 4 slots. I don't know if there's any French tanks that only have 4 slots, but I'm pretty sure there has to be. So you have a crew member that needs that perk. So you have to have a crew that's trained for this tank to take out that open slot. You'd give him mentor. You'd probably choose a commander and give him mentor. You know. Eagle Eye is a good idea, but this is meant to train other crew, so I don't really consider this to be, other than training unless you're training a vehicle that has 4 less slots and you have an open slot for a crew for this vehicle, you'd probably want to go mentor on that thing, on that commander, or, you know, whatever you could throw. But other than that, you shouldn't really be putting crew into this. As you can see, I have crew for this vehicle simply because I don't drive the French heavy tanks, and this thing is my money maker, not my crew trainer. I bought this thing purely for replayability and money making, just because, yeah, it's nice to have a money maker. That's, once you've bought this thing, you can just keep printing credits. This thing has a credit multiplier on par with other tanks of the other Tier 8 premiums, so this thing does make a lot of money. It's probably not as good as some of the other ones, but it is on par with most of them. So, I mean, it can't beat the Type 59G. That thing's ridiculous. You can die at the start of a match with 0 anything and still make 50,000 credits. That thing's ridiculous. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the tank. Yeah, I guess I'll check it next time. Bye.